Nigeria, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Newsline. I am Jennifer Igwe. Now, the cause of the Ikoyi building collapse in Lagos remains unknown. But like most disasters, the horror, loss of lives, injuries, and trauma are painful and may leave long-lasting physical and psychological effects. Fingers are still crossed. Many, are still praying for the miraculous as search and operations continue. We are praying for victims and standing with their relatives this trying period. And for those who survived that horrifying experience, their stories indeed are worth sharing. Stay tuned to find out how a crucial jump saved 18-year-old Williams Nwachukwu's life. Then, the NTA will stand against rape and rapists. We have been following up on cases to ensure justice is served. We have updates on rape cases we have been keeping a tab on since year 2020. Our correspondent will give us latest development and what happened to one of the suspects in the alleged rape case of a 10-year-old girl. In addition to ensuring victims of rape and violence get needed justice, the NTA also supports efforts to stop harmful norms that make children more vulnerable to exploitation. We have a report on human trafficking in a place that ought to be succor for children. We have much more lined up, but first, the news, and Elizabeth Omoriye is on standby. Hello, Lizzie. Nice to see you.
Well, Jennifer, it's nice to see you as well. We begin with the collation of Anambra governorship election results. Collation of results on the Anambra State governorship election is still ongoing at the state headquarters of the Independent Electoral Commission in Awka, which is the state collation center. The long drawn-out process has been the presentation of results from about 19 local government areas, while INEC officials and a collation of presiding officers are currently in the process of determining the authenticity of results from polling units in Orumba North, which has been disrupted. The collation and chief returning officer for the governorship election, Professor Florence Obi, while issuing a directive on the matter, indicated that the process of state collation can only proceed after issues with the votes from Orumba North local government area have been resolved. We will keep you updated on developments in Awka as they unfold at the State Collation Center. A suspect drug dealer who is a mastermind of recent attempts to export illicit drugs to London through the Murtala Mohammed International Airport has been arrested by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. A suspect has been on bail since November 2020 for attempting to export 15.700 kilograms of methamphetamine to Australia. The recent arrest is for attempting to export 78 parcels of cannabis to the UK, concealed in black soda packs, weighing 12.250 kilograms. Meanwhile, the agency has scuttled an attempt to export over 263 kilograms of cocaine, methamphetamine, cannabis, and other illicit substances destined for London, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and New Zealand through two courier firms. Niger State government, in collaboration with security agencies in the state, have demolished a building belonging to one of the masterminds of the University of Abuja kidnap saga. This is in line with the state government's standing order that property of anyone found wanting in case of kidnap or terrorism be destroyed to serve as deterrent to others.
Sequel to the recent success recorded by security agencies in rescuing kidnapped victims of University of Abuja, based on credible intelligence, it was discovered that the alleged mastermind of the kidnap had bought a house in Pakugu area of Mina, the Niger State capital, with alleged proceeds from kidnapping activities. Briefing journalists at the Niger State Police Command, the State Commissioner for Local Government, Chieftaincy Affairs and Internal Security, Emmanuel Umar, said the suspect has confessed to have participated in 5 kidnapping activities which he allegedly purchased the house with. The state government matched actions with words.
A joint security agencies arrested a notorious kidnapping suspect who is by name Mohammed Amadou, male, is about 35 years of age. His further confession led to the arrest of other suspects and the subsequent rescue of the kidnapped victims.
The abducted victims have since been released and reunited with their families. In Minna, I'm Fatima Usman, NTA News.
President General of the Association of African Private Universities, Professor Adamu Abubakar, has advocated the need for private universities on the continent to focus on standard and quality to safeguard scholarship in institutions. The university don't made the plea while delivering a lecture on the impact of unionism among African private universities during the 8th convocation of Harris University, Togo, held in Lomé, the capital city. Shehu Adamu reports.
Professor Adamu Abubakar said with the current globalization and liberalization, there is the need to promote and encourage the emergence of quality private universities to contribute to the development of teaching and research. The bilingual professor therefore urged the management of Harris University, Togo, not to compromise its quality and standards to guard against joining the league of some African private universities that award certificate to the highest bidder.
C'est pas la majorité de vous, il faut être, comme je dis souvent par il faut être innové. But in Benin also, there is a good university. It's not all of them that are selling certificates. But if 80% of 100% are selling certificates, in Nigeria, people generalize it, all Beninese universities are selling certificates.
He commended the effort of the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Shuaib Ibrahim, in saving Nigeria's education system from the substandard degrees being awarded in West and Central Africa and ensuring that only graduates with standard requirements are enrolled into the scheme. Professor Adamu Abubakar Gordo therefore called on private universities in the Francophone countries to emulate Madam Abacha American University in giving priority to qualitative education. Former Executive Director of First Bank of Nigeria, Lowell Dodadari, reminded the graduates to be innovative to remain relevant in the society. Prominent individuals from Nigeria were among those awarded with honorary doctorate degrees for their contribution to the development of education at different levels. The recipients include Secretary to Kaduna State Government, Dr. Mustafa Mohammed Inwa, and Maimuna Yahya Abubakar of Tozali Magazine. Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
It was not only the peaceful conduct of the Anambra governorship election that surprised many, but also the high number of invalid and cancelled votes. The number of invalid votes from 19 of the 21 local government areas announced is about 7,625. This figure, when added to the 148,407 registered voters in Hiala local government area where election did not hold, and the 93,620 registered voters in Orumba North local government where the result has been contested as a result of the submission by the returning officer. He signed the result under duress. It means about 250,000 people's votes did not count in the election. This significant number of invalid votes, analysts say, need to be addressed through voter education, not only by the election umpire, but also political parties who are supposed to educate their supporters on election processes. Now to other matters. Search and rescue operation at the Koi building collapse is at low ebb as heavy-duty vehicles cart away the rubble. Abolade Salami reports that new responders and security personnel are still keeping vigil at the site.
Effort at rescuing survivors at the Ikoyi collapsed building and bring down to ground zero the heap of rubble standing tall. The site of the collapsed structure is 90% cleared of rubble, with heavy-duty vehicles on queue to cart them away. While this seemed the only major thing happening at the site, responders and some medical personnel in their numbers are still hanging around the site in case of any emergency.
That are mostly responsible for building collapse, structural failure, using substandard materials. Majorly, when people are having their concrete mixings, they do not consider the real ratio, the accepted ratio for a particular concrete mixings.
According to an eyewitness account, 2 more bodies were recovered at about 8 p.m. Saturday night and 2 a.m. Sunday morning, which brings the total number of casualties so far to 44. Meanwhile, the attention of families of the victims has been directed to the Infectious and Disease Hospital Yaba for identification. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the national leader of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has commiserated with families of those who lost their loved ones when their 21-story building caved in at Ikoyi, Lagos. Adeni Taiwo reports that the former governor of Lagos State condoled with them when he visited the scene of the collapsed structure alongside Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule to inspect ongoing search and rescue operation.
Arriving in the site, APC national leader Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu moved straight to the collapsed building to inspect ongoing search and rescue operations. He came out after about 15 minutes and stood by as Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu gave updates to the media. Death tolls from the collapsed building, according to Governor Sanwo-Olu, has risen to 42, while the number of missing persons reported by families grew from 32 on Friday to 49.
However, there are additional 6 people that we've also been able to identify that they were, on site, and they were treated at the police hospital at Falomo. But we're getting all of the full records of the patients, the 6 additional survivors, and so that it will go to a total of about 15.
The state government is working with available records to provide financial support for bereaved families and those injured in the incident.
And there's a sum of money that have been made available to be given to the family that so wish, because some might opt out of it, that so wish, just to support, the burial arrangements extensively. And also people that were in the hospital too, they are also given support so that they can settle back at home.
He also disclosed that families have started picking the remains of their loved ones from Infectious and Disease Hospital Yaba after autopsy was carried out on them. In Lagos, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Let's now shift attention to entrepreneurship. More youth in Asaba are embracing entrepreneurship and contributing to the growth of their communities and the country. Their motivation and support come from Asaba Home Diaspora Development Initiative. Austin Edemodo witnessed the graduation of another batch of trained youth, sponsored largely by a diasporan. Oguche Ephraim Okocha, who is also an indigene of Asaba.
These are the latest graduates of skill acquisition program instituted 5 years ago by the Asaba Home Diaspora Development Initiative. 19 of these latest batch of 40 trade youths have been sponsored by Oguche Ephraim Okocha, who have been championing self-reliance for youths in Asaba.
No sum was paid, not even a fee. So I am very, very encouraged.
I want to be thankful to Oguche Ephraim Okocha for enabling me to have this skill. I'm very, very grateful to him and his family.
I appreciate the empowerment program, and I want to encourage more people outside there to come over to Adai and have this training.
We are all graduates, and having a skill to really show for, a skill that we can really come out and be proud of. It's really something very good for us.
After undergoing 4 months of free intensive skill training in hairdressing, solar installation, baking and culinary, ICT operation amongst others, the sponsors expect a better and productive life for these beneficiaries.
As they go ahead, they make proper use of their skills, because that is why they are equipped to have the entrepreneurship skills.
These are unemployed young people who were walking the streets before. Some of them were cultists, not only fending for themselves,
trainers.
It is therefore a clarion call for well-meaning Asaba sons and daughters to keep the youths away from crime by sponsoring more youths in skill acquisition. So far, 165 Asaba youths have been trained and empowered through the Asaba Home Diaspora Development Initiative since 2018. Austin Idemolu, NTA News.
In other news, the All Progressives Congress APC in Gombe State has expressed dismay over the clash between youth groups of the party leading to the death of one person in Gombe on Friday. Emmanuel Akila reports.
The APC, while addressing the press, called on the youths not to allow themselves to be used by politicians to achieve their personal objectives at the expense of their future and development of the country. Turning to politicians, the party warned members to play politics that would unite them and foster peaceful resolution of internal differences.
The APC remain a very strong and united party under the leadership of Alhaji Mahmoud Inuayaya, the governor of Gombe State, and under his watch, no indigenous of Gombe State will be injured or will be harmed.
Normalcy has been restored in the state capital and environs as people go about their everyday life activities without hindrances. The Inuayaya administration, in a press statement, called for calm, pledging to ensure that the prevailing peace in the state is not jeopardized. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Talking sports now, after the 10 West African countries who while number 2 to 3rd.
Moment of jubilation for host country Senegal. The defending champion exerting its dominance once again. And the trophy stays with the Senegalese for the second time in a row. The trophies goes along with a cash award of 10. Moment of jubilation for host country Senegal. The defending champion exerting its dominance once again. And the trophy stays with the Senegalese for the second time in a row. The trophies goes along with a cash award of $10,000, $6,000 consolation prize to Niger Republic, and $3,000 to Nigeria.
Toujours j'ai dit que le tournoi là, il n'y a pas de vainqueur ni vaincu. Nous sommes tous des Africains.
It has happened. Yes, my boy fought very well. I hope next time we are going to be first.
While we are coming to compete almost 2 hours before you come from your hostel to the competition ground, you are always tired about do some of the techniques they use, they knock us out, but we don't complain, we give thanks to God, because it's God that gives us victory.
In the individual category, Kadri Abdu from Niger Republic won the 120 kilogram average weight, with the Senegalese team winning the 186, 76 and 66 kilograms. Also in the individual category, Nigeria's Captain Balti won the third place of the 120 kilogram, and Ekere Ogiomo took the second place of the 86 kilogram average weight.
It's every country is here and they have done well. We want to congratulate everybody who has come in and competed. Even if they didn't win a medal, they won just by their presence.
The 10th edition of the tournament is expected to come up in 2023 to be hosted by any of the ECOWAS country that has technical capacity. From Dakar, Senegal, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Lady Roma, who died last week at a hospital in London. Our highway reports that the delegation led by the Minister of Aviation had this week visited the family of the deceased, the Emir of Katsina and Governor Aminu Bello Masari.
The delegation also included Minister of Police Affairs and Minister of State for Agriculture. At the residence of the deceased at Kofamoru Sani Layout in Katsina Metropolis, the delegation condoled with the family and other associates of late Abba Sayedi. They were also at the palace of Emir of Katsina Abdulmumin Kabir Usman to consult with the people of the state. Leader of the delegation, Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, described the deceased as an excellent administrator whose contributions to the development of Katsina State and the nation at large will continue to be remembered. While at the Government House, the delegation described the death of the former minister as a great loss, not only to the state, but the entire country.
The nation has lost one of our finest, and we are in grief, but with total submission to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For indeed the Quran says, certainly every life shall taste death.
The Minister of Police Affairs led special prayer for the repose of the soul of the deceased. In Katsina, Awan Haliru, NTA News.
The relentless effort of the Nigerian government to curtail the dangers posed by insurgents requires continuous commitment, dedication and selfless service of the armed forces and other relevant agencies. The Chief of Defence Staff, General Loki Rabo, made this known at the 5-year remembrance prayer held in Lokoja in honor of late Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Abu Ali, who died a gallant soldier during the Operation Lafayette in Borno State. Francis Udojo reports.
The presence of the representative of the Minister of Defense, Group Captain Mohammed Sani, and the Commander, Command Army Records Lokoja Major General Okwe William Ali, who also represented both the Chief of Defense and Army staff, at the 5 years remembrance prayer of late Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Abu Ali, shows how important the deceased and the event is to the country, and particularly the Nigerian Army. Late Lieutenant Colonel Ali will be remembered for his commitment, dedication and determination to keep Nigeria as an indivisible entity. To this end, the Chief Imam of Basange Land and other clerics took turn to pray for the repose of the soul of the fallen hero. The father of the deceased and the Eshu Basange, Brigadier General Abu Ali, while describing his late son as a loyal officer, promised continuous support of his people to governments at all levels.
The presence at this prayer program will no longer be a source of aspiration to the family of Abu Ali, also an inspiration to the Basange community and Nigeria in general.
However, to honor the deceased, the Army used the event to carry out their ongoing civic activities for exercise enduring peace as materials were presented to peoples and women of the area. Late Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Ali died on active service on the 14th of November 2016 during the Operation Lafia Dole at Fatori, Borno State. Francis Sudojo, NTA News.
That report ends the news segment of the program. To remember, the campaign against rape is making serious impact. Stand with us at the NTA. Take action against rape. More reports with Jennifer after the break.
Stories coming out from the ruins of the collapsed building at Gerald Road in Ikoyi,
from
Lagos
the Republican and the Democratic Party.
So
but the other parties see themselves as parties for the other.
Yet,
more than half of the people.
Odds against all the expectations or fears.
We know NURTW. I've been an advocate of the electoral management.
Mistakes and improve upon them. But I do not think that we should relapse into an utopian situation of thinking.
This picture you have on the screen, the arrangement is still ongoing for the commencement of a collation, our state collation center in Oka, Anambra State capital. We can see the National Commissioner for now Mr. Akoji.
Positions of governance is guided.
My face is your property. My face is your with the family.
because that is the 174 local governments and the 36 states, including the FCT. It's not a task that working.
We also have in the room able national commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission. I'd like to start with the supervising national commissioner that is in charge of Anambra State. His name is Barrister Face. You can have your seats, please. Now, in proceeding with the program, let me introduce some of the people that are here today. I'd like to especially introduce the returning officer, collation and officer for the state collation of the governorship election today. Her name is Professor Florence Obi. Professor Obi is a professor of You can have your seats, please. In proceeding with the program, let me introduce some of the people that are here today. I'd like to especially introduce the returning officer, collation and returning officer for the state collation of the governorship election today. Her name is Professor Florence Obi. Professor Obi is a professor of special education at the University of Calabar. She's the 11th substantive vice chancellor.
Convicted and sentenced to 30 years in the correctional center.
Introduce some of the people that are here today. I'd like to especially introduce
55-year-old Muhammad Ibrahim, who died in the correctional center on Thursday, the 21st of this month, when he was expected to enter defense in the alleged rape case of a 10-year-old girl. Who is following with rape cases, gives an update.
Awareness of transfer recently moved magistrates across Niger State to new environments, which always led more sobering cases. What is new in this report is the death of Muhammad Ibrahim, the 55-year-old suspect in the Kaswell case, who allegedly led at a year-old death. Muhammad Ibrahim died in custody when a special
You can have your seat, please. In proceeding with the program, let me introduce some of the people that are here today.
The record of the death of the suspect, who was said to have passed on in a hospital, and sought the permission of the court to bury the late rape suspect.
I'd like to especially introduce the returning officer, collation and returning officer for the state collation of the governorship election today. Her name is Professor Florence Obi. Professor Obi is a professor of special education at the University of Calabar. She's the 11th substantive vice chancellor of the university and the first female vice chancellor of the institution.
The Rural Aid Council contacted the suspect in
We also have in the room able national commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission. I'd like to start with the supervising national commissioner that is in charge. I'd like to start with the Independent National Electoral Commission.
The case will just die together with the accused person.
Okay, so what of the victim? We also have
died. She might want justice, and justice here is for him to either, if he's convicted, to be imprisoned or to pay compensation or fine.
Unfortunately, the suspect died while the case is yet to be determined and seriously injured my daughter.
Definitely, the victim will undergo as intensive counseling. The victim will be placed in school. We normally give them a free scholarship with a full school kit and constant monitoring of the family.
Now, it will interest you to know that the first suspect of Kaswandere rape cases, Muhammad Sani, was convicted and sentenced. The second suspect, Muhammad Ibrahim, died in custody, while the mother of the third victim disappeared with her daughter.
Unfortunately, we've confirmed from the hospital that he has also inflicted her with HIV.
Meanwhile, NTA Newsline is following development of some other rape cases in Niger State earlier reported, including that of a minor that allegedly raped another minor in the same Kaswandere area in Chanchaga, Boso local government area of the state.
The NTA stands against rape and rapists. We will keep a tab on all the cases and ensure we bring them to you. They were brought into the orphanage with the promise of a better life. What they never knew was that behind the innocence of assistance, their new guardian is into illegal acts of human trafficking. Caleb Gushin has this revealing story from Jos, where an illegal orphanage operated by a clergyman engages in giving out the children at a price.
The community is about 8 kilometers from the Jos city center. In the heart of this rather semi-urban settlement is a one-story building housing the orphanage in one of its flats. In what can be described as man's inhumanity to man, 63 children, ages ranging between 3 and 25, are crammed in this 3-room apartment. What busted the bubble is the arrest of Justina Oche, who was intercepted at Makuri with 2 children en route to Calabar by officials of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP.
I don't have a child. I was advised that I can adopt if I want to. When I discovered that there was an orphanage there, I asked them if the place is registered. They said yes. That's when I came for the adoption.
The man is the proprietor of the home who says he had a call from God to assist the children who are mostly from crisis-affected areas.
We told the parent that, okay, we have an orphanage in Jos, and I also have a school. And we want them to give us these children. And then I will take them to Jos. And some of them, we told them that there are people that will come for adoption. And we also give these children out to adoption. And then with the agreement of the parent, there are forms we give, they sign, and then before taking the children.
I'm here with young Emmanuel Gambo, who says he's in primary 3. Well, we'll speak with Emmanuel and get to know how things have been here in what he calls school. So, Emma, tell us, what class are you and what have you been learning?
My class is primary 3. I learn social study, mathematics, and basic science. Social study is the study of man in physical environment.
She bought them for at the rate of 70,000 naira each, and she was taking it to her sister in Calabar. So that gave us, we had to
arrest the owner of the facility, and then further investigation led us to come here. We are going to charge him to court because he has violated the trafficking law.
Children, being who they are, were not comfortable with their being evacuated from the home as they cried and wailed.
Children have the right to be protected from exploitation and abuse. Now to an incident which, well, somebody trying to lead a healthy life and save the ecosystem got killed. Afolabi Mabugunje was particular about healthy living, so he took to cycling. This he did for many years, while encouraging others to do same. Like every other day, he embarked on his routine, doing what he loves to do, but he never returned. Kehinde Adebisi is standing by to tell us more about this case of one robbery too many.
Afolabi Mabogunje was a passionate cyclist. For over 10 years, his daily route was from Maryland through Anthony Village to Jibowu and back. On this fateful day, while waiting for other team members around Anthony, disaster struck. Afolabi, popularly called Mabogs by friends and colleagues, was robbed and stabbed severally. This unfortunate incident eventually led to his death.
So we needed to take a sample of his blood to Bagadaji to group and cross-match and give us 4 pints of blood. And so we went through Lagos traffic about, this was now about maybe 9 a.m. because we got to the hospital about 8 to go look for blood. And then the blood arrives. And then all sorts of things cause more delays.
I went to the policeman to Bagadaji General Hospital. He took a medical report, a form that is standard with the police. So he took it himself so as to give it to the doctor that will complete it and send it back to the police.
The officials did the best they could do. So as a family, although it's sad, we can use this incident to better the country.
I met with this young man who also uses the same route where Afolabi was robbed. And according to him, the sport is one of the most notorious sports in the States.
I was passing around that area, I had like 4 guys around me and all that. I had to just dip my hand in my pocket and give them something. I'm sure if I had nothing on me, I don't know what could have happened.
And what does the police and other stakeholders have to say about this one too many robbery incidents?
No complaint was lodged at police until 4 days after. Because maybe the man had rather been a medical doctor now, rushed to the hospital without informing police immediately. It was after he eventually lost his life before the report came to the police. All those man hours for us to have done something so was lost. So it's not, but notwithstanding now, we have taken note of that. And since then now, no incident has happened.
Everybody's life is important to us, and every situation like this goes through a thorough investigation, and we learn lessons from it, and we implement those lessons.
Gone but not forgotten, family, friends, and colleagues of late Afolabi held a memorial and an awareness walk against crime around Anthony Village.
We all don't have security details that work with us. We our own security, and as a group, we know we are safer. But from our house to the spots, there's an open, open opportunity for somebody to take advantage. Which is exactly what happened to the general.
We would be able to exact some type of improvement or change in the security situation in Lagos in general and in this particular area around Shodex Gardens where the event occurred.
This spot right here in Anthony Village, Lagos, is where Afolabi Mabogunje, a cyclist, was robbed, stabbed multiple times and left for death. According to the family, friends and colleagues, this is a wake-up call for the state government to have a second look at some of the places where they are described as black spots.
Heartbreaking story. To another incident. First, he was declared missing. After 4 days of intense search, his lifeless body was recovered from a canal at the abattoir axis of Okwoba, Lagos. This is a mystery surrounding the untimely death of the head of Electrical Engineering Unit at the Muritala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. The police have vowed to dig deep into the case. Michael Olaleye reports.
At 51, Abdurrahman Musa is already planning towards retirement, and they stimulated his interest in farming. According to family members, 31st of October being a Sunday was an avenue for him to consolidate his agricultural enterprise as he left his residence at number 4A Dayajisha Fair Close, Agege, Lagos, for his farm located in Ogun State. The wait for his return gradually became endless to the displeasure of his wife, who alerted Abdurrahman's nephew, Nuhu Momo, also residing in Lagos.
Initially, it was reported as a case of missing person on the 1st of November 2021 by one Nuhu Momo of number 68 Jibu Road, Abuja.
Diligent search later traced Abdurrahman's whereabouts to Old Abeokuta Road, beside Bola Event Center, Abattoir, along Abuja, where his car was found resting sideways in a gutter. When Newsline visited, Abdurrahman's elder brother, Ibrahim, also an engineer, but who is based in Abuja, showed us text messages he had exchanged with his nephew, indicating that Abdurrahman was involved in an accident but left the location sand and fine.
Then he was at the police station because we placed a report. So he called me that someone said there is a cop at the canal somewhere, you should come and see. So he quickly ran there, and he was still there. We were all praying he shouldn't be the one, but unfortunately, when they started pulling him out, before they could pull him out, when they pulled him out, he was able to identify that he's the one.
Mr. Musa's household is missing his usual vibe, with his wife still trying to comprehend what went wrong.
He's a great person. I will miss him a lot because he has done a lot of things for me. But I leave everything to Almighty God.
The deceased has 4 children, and the eldest is just 21 years.
I'm going to carry the load. It's a weight. Musa, sorry. I hope I can carry it.
The Lagos Police Command is already in the picture and has promised to get to the roots of the matter.
The corpse has been deposited at the mainland hospital morgue, Yaba, for autopsy. I want to assure members of the public that we will not rest on our oars until we have unraveled the circumstances surrounding his death.
While the police continue its investigation, it is believed that the missing link that could ascertain Abdurrahman's whereabouts and cause of his death will hopefully be revealed.
And we will keep you posted. Time for a break. Newsline will continue shortly. An indigenous way of recruitment, advancing the knowledge and practice of tax among students in Nigeria while boosting tax culture can best describe the 6th edition of the Federal Inland Revenue Service National Tax Debate. The program was academic and practical in context. Elizabeth Omori, who monitored the finals, reports that Team H emerged winner of the 2021 edition. Who are they? Wait and see.
Expansion of taxes will make it difficult for companies and individuals to actually contribute to the overall economic output. For companies, it will mean that there is no incentive to expand production.
A keenly contested debates with thought-provoking presentations on tax administration, contestants proved their mettle at different levels by providing new perspectives to effective administration of VATs in Nigeria.
There are a lot of these startups making a lot of money that we can still find ways to tax them and be able to still generate a lot of income for the country at large. The future has already gotten to us.
After satisfying the judges and convincingly proven their contribution to knowledge of tax administration and solutions to tax issues, 4 teams made it to the final. Their drills were tough and the contest hot, But only an ultimate champion can emerge, and Team H, representing University of Lagos, impressed the judges enough with 85.37% to clinch the top spots.
I want to congratulate all of you for a good job that you have done for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We all have learned and we all go back home to think, and we are going to be able to sit with our respective lawyers to prepare for the big task ahead.
Other finalists include Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, and Rivers State University, Port Harcourt. The chairman of the Inland Revenue Service was honored at the event, which is a collaboration of tax partners, for the unflinching support of the FIRS. The winning prize is 500,000 naira. The winners have been offered employment at the FIRS.
Platform for training and recruitment. Now, Nigerian women have been reminded of their roles as nation builders and, as such, must optimize the available support and empowerment required to excel domestically and professionally. How to achieve the requisite skills for self-actualization was the focal point of the 8th NECA Network of Entrepreneurial Women's Summit, which drew business entrepreneurs from across the country to Lagos, including the wife of the Kwara State Governor. Adiola Kwame-Akere reports.
The business landscape is constantly evolving, and the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic has altered the traditional ways of transacting business across all sectors. This hybrid summit of new is therefore to broaden the horizon of female entrepreneurs who desire to achieve excellence even with the many restrictions.
I've met a lot of people who are excellent, doing excellent in their own businesses, and inshallah, I want to be like them.
Nuggets on the right mindset for boosting business excellence, excelling in spite of post-pandemic challenges, professional presence for women, a key ingredient for success, as well as leadership skills that inspire the culture of excellence in business were discussed at the summit.
We build relationships, engage people. You know, relationships is the currency of life. There's no way you can actually become anything you want to become in life without people.
We'll get a lot discouraged along the line. Family will discourage you, friends will discourage you as the road is getting tougher. So it's more tempting to want to go back. But with persistence, women entrepreneurs will get to that point of excellence.
Wife of the Kwara State Governor enjoined the network not to relent in its objective of empowering women, adding that the group should endeavor to support interested females with the startups needed for private businesses.
It's also now important to also sponsor so that you are able to create that entrepreneur that you are looking for. And when you sponsor, you are able to create many more wealthy women, you know, within the space, within the society.
Wife of the Kwara State Governor was later conducted round exhibition stands where products of new members were on display. Consistency and deferment of gratification were some of the take-home points for participants.
People would only recognize you if you give back. If you sit down and are taking everything and then they're asking for volunteers, you're not helping, you're not doing anything, you'll never go far.
And I met fantastic women that have influenced my life positively and my business, and that's how I have also influenced theirs.
We want to empower women entrepreneurs. We were there once, so why don't we do anything? And we have a lot of training.
Panelists in an interactive session provided answers to some salient questions from participants.
Indeed, play crucial roles in development. Now, there is no compromise to the unity and peaceful coexistence of Nigerians, so citizens should continue to pray for the socio-economic well-being of the country. This is one of the resolutions of the women's wing of the Christian Association of Nigeria at their 27th annual convention in Akure, Ondo State. Abiola Ario reports.
With the theme, Be Still and Know That I Am God, Christian women from across the Federation stormed Akure for the 27th Annual Convention of the Women Wing of the Christian Association of Nigeria, where we can.
We want our nation, the peace to be restored. That is why the Christian women, we said it is necessary for us to gather this year and look upon the face of the Lord and call upon Him. And we are sure that God Almighty will answer our prayers.
I've been hearing the theme, but in this convention, it has strengthened me more to know that in tribulation, in storms, we have to stand firm.
All the challenges that we're having today, the Boko Haram, the rapists, and so on, we will overcome it in the name of Jesus Christ.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu expressed appreciation to WOWICAN members for their efforts at nation building. There were sensitization talks against drug abuse, gender violence, as well as skills acquisition initiatives.
Now, if for diagram, they are going to split it into 50 by 50. But when they want to start, they start with 8 steps.
Deserving individuals, including Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu and his wife Betty, were honored by the Christian women.
This is a force that can change the nation. When we are willing to unite, I'm not sure that anything that can stop the force of women.
All of us, we should unite together. We should continue to seek God's face, God first in everything we are going to do, so that we will continue to hear from Him and do His way and pray unto Him for God to liberate our nation, Nigeria.
The week-long convention climaxed with a Thanksgiving service to appreciate God for the success of the event.
Women are great intercessors, and we will continue to pray for Nigeria. Ahead of the 17th edition of the Africa Movie Academy Awards, the Africa Film Academy hosted diplomats in the Federal Capital Territory in an event tagged An Evening with Ama. Tochi Oputa was there and brings us highlights from the evening.
The beauty of art lies in the ever-evolving inspiration that life itself provides, and the preponderance of outlets that could also be applied. In whatever format that it presents, art would always remain one of the best mirrors of the society, and the movies rank top in the scheme of things.
And the award for screenplay goes to...
For nearly 17 years, the Africa Film Academy has screened and celebrated various reflections on this mirror through the Africa Movie Academy Awards. The 2021 edition is almost here, and so the need for a preceding event is imminent. Hence, A Day with Ama. The target of the night was a diplomatic screening of Ama's 2020 Movie of the Year and Nigeria's Oscar entry for 2021. The Milkmaid. This is geared at giving guests a taste of what Ama represents before the main event.
We thought that it's important people see what Ama actually awards, and that's why we're doing this. And also, we felt it was necessary to bring something to the capital city of Abuja as well, just to make sure people know what we do and why we do it, really.
With eyes fixed on the screen and a cozy atmosphere, invited guests watched the story of Aisha through the eyes of Desmond Obiageli in a community attacked by insurgents. Aisha, who escapes her abductors, is forced to confront the religious extremists in a bid to find her sister. Emotions run through the hall as guests watch a relatable story that has become common news in our country today.
I think my takeaway with it is that the solution to the insurgency is not just a military solution, it has to be holistic, because lives are being impaired.
For the cast and crew, immersing into the character is the best way to ensure that the message is not lost. And though this is fiction, it's not far from the experiences of most victims, as those experiences help to create this great story.
Everyone who sees this sees not just beautiful performances or beautiful pictures, but you get the story and the actual depth, and that's the point of the movie.
Bringing in a story, you have to be realistic for people to understand what is in there.
I felt as a filmmaker, we have a responsibility to comment on pertinent issues in our environment. And this particular issue wasn't, in my opinion, being adequately addressed.
Just like the story of Aisha, there are many more stories across Africa that made Ama's list to be rewarded for their hard work of painting a proper picture of the society. The 2021 African Movie Academy Awards will hold on the 28th of November in Lagos, Nigeria.
Nigerian movie industry is waxing stronger indeed. Now, the 2021 edition of the Nigerian Media Merit Awards, NMMA, may have come and gone, but the memories of the event will linger in the minds of many, especially those who were recognized for their sterling contributions to the quality of content and growth of broadcast industry in Nigeria. One of our own, Doshima Pius Ikereve, also got a pat on the back for hard work and commitment to quality programming. Thekla Wilkie reports that it was double celebration for Doshima, who also made a life-changing decision in her love life. Let's get to it.
Saturday, 30th of October is a day to remember as some indigenes of Kogi State took a break from their everyday routine to join dignitaries who descended on Lokoja, the state capital, for an evening that spelled celebration in bold letters. The event was the 29th edition of the Nigerian Media Merit Awards, a ceremony that brings a measure of skillfulness and grandiosity under one roof. The gathering was a representation of unforgettable faces of television, world smiths in the print media, and golden voices of radio stations in Nigeria. The event, which kicked off on a glamorous note, had the governor of the state, Yahaya Bello, along with his deputy and cabinet members in attendance. In his address, the governor admonished journalists to always adhere to the ethics of the profession and remain factual and responsible in their reportage. Over the course of the event, many journalists were recognized for their distinctive impact in enriching the content and status of the nation's broadcast industry in various categories, covering the spectrum of the print media, radio and television broadcasts. Organizers of the awards say a total of 1,050 entries were received from 731 journalists across the country this year, making it the highest ever since the inauguration of the awards in 1991. Awards were given in more than 51 categories to various winners, with a majority in print category. Highlights of this year's award include Newspaper of the Year won by Punch Newspaper, Editor of the Year won by Adeni Additional of The Nation, News Photograph of the Year won by Saeed Olubon, also of the Punch Newspaper. The late former Deputy Governor of the CBN, Dr. Obadai Melafia, who died September this year, was also honored as he won the prize for Alade Odunewu Columnist of the Year. In the radio category, Ray Power was declared Radio Station of the Year, while the Radio Presenter of the Year was also won by a staff of the station, Sarah Osanyi-Lucy. Adegoke Fayemi of Ray Power also won Radio Program of the Year and Radio Reporter of the Year. In the television category, Channels Television won Television Station of the Year, while Akande Emmanuel of the TVC won Television Reporter of the Year.
Television Newscaster of the Year went to Ngozi Aliebo of Arise Television, while Gimba Umar, a former Channels TV broadcaster, was named the Television Program Presenter of the Year. One of our own, Doshima Pius Ikerave, a principal producer with Programs Directorate of the NTA Abuja, emerged winner of the Television Production of the Year award for the program Against All Odds.
It was because people told their stories and people's life got changed along the way. Against All Odds actually walked out its award by itself.
It is noteworthy to state that this is the first time the NTA is participating in the award ceremony since inception.
In NTA, you have the best hands in television, not only in Nigeria, but in the whole of Africa. So all of us have the best. We've not won anything in the past, simply because we did not enter, we did not put in for the competition. Simple. This year we did 5 entries, and out of those 5 entries, 3 were mentioned. So the fact that we have not been in the news for quite some time, it's not because we are not supposed to be on the news. It's just because simply because we did not enter, we did not put in for the competition. This year we did, and look at what has happened. So it's got to be consistent now from this year going forward.
Interestingly, it was a double celebration for Doshima on that fateful day, as she was also tied in knots with the love of her life in Makurdi.
Let me wish Doshima a very successful, wonderful, happy married life. She is getting married today, and it is a double honor for Doshima. Our best wishes to Doshima.
Indeed, Doshima has proven that persistence and commitment pays against all odds.
The NTA is indeed committed to quality programming. Double congratulations, Doshima, and welcome to the family of the NMMA winners. I actually won the Nigerian Media Merit Awards Reporter of the Year 2012. So the NTA, we're flying high and we will continue to fly. Time for a break. Newsline continues shortly. Welcome back. Now, reports just reaching us says motorists along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway need to exercise utmost restraints and patience due to heavy traffic that will result from obstructions of traffic flow around Shagamu interchange. The obstruction is an aftermath of a tanker laden with 50,000 litres of diesel that went up in flames on the road this Sunday. Already, the personnel of Ogun State and Federal Fire Service are mobilizing to the scene. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is appealing to motorists not to resort to taking unsecured routes while trying to seek alternative access at this time. Safety is key. Now to what brands are doing. Nigerian Breweries PLC says it has consistently maintained its reputation as a socially responsible company with empowerment programs that have remained unrivaled, so more so with its Brew a Better World agenda. Just recently, some individuals were presented startup parks to grow and expand their ventures. Adiola Komiakere witnessed the presentation for Newsline.
The Nigerian Breweries is not oblivious of the many effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on Nigeria's economy. It was in response to the challenges that the Brew a Better World agenda was initiated.
And it will help
create employment and create for the people that are here a better future, and the people that see this, they also be motivated to find a way to get a better life going forward.
Lawal Nuruddin Ola is one of the graduates from the Lagos location. He had always wondered how the solar panel worked without electricity and fuel.
I've imagined that before. So now I'm thanking Nigeria News. Big thanks, because I can see hope on this.
I love that. I really appreciate it, and I pray that God is going to help me in order to help others. When I get there also, I pray God is going to help me in order to empower others that are still coming.
Representatives of the Lagos State Deputy Governor, Commissioner for Youth, Sports and Social Development reiterated the importance of skill acquisition to nation building, while the Ojora, Vijora and Igomu kingdoms described the graduates as budding role models.
Our administration believes that engaging youths in vocational training and subsequently financial empowerment is crucial to addressing youth restlessness and honor social life.
Appeal to other companies. Let's emulate what the companies do for us now, because the government cannot do it alone.
Similar messages were delivered in several locations across the country, including Owerri, Ibadan, and Kaduna.
This initiative drives home our corporate philosophy as Nigerian breweries to win with Nigeria by supporting our youth and women.
As a corporate organization, in an effort to build up and then to train the youth to make sure that we're taking most of the youth out of the street, we initiated this program.
In Abuja, focus was primarily on widows and vulnerable members of the Police Officers' Wives Association, POA.
To our prime partner, Mortina, for making this project a dream come true for 100 pure women, well trained and equipped with various tools and resources to explore their world.
The vocational and life skills impacted on the participants were solar panel installation, event management and decoration, cosmetology, jewelry and beads making, fashion and textile designs, photography, computer appreciation and programming, vulcanizing, confectionaries, among other life-changing skills. By this training, a total of 443 women and youths from the 5 locations in Lagos, Ibadan, Owerri, Abuja, and Kaduna have become employers of labor, thus a boost to the nation's labor markets.
Now, the President Muhammadu Buhari has extended warm felicitations to Mrs. Pauline Alao, wife of the first Chief of Air Staff in Nigeria, Colonel Shitu Alao, as she turns 80 years. The President, in a statement by his Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, indicates that the President wishes her long life and sound health. Now, the remains of the wife of the first military head of state, Lady Victoria Agui-Ironsi, has been laid to rest in her hometown, Ona Ndume Umuahia, Ibeku, in Abia State. Steve Nwaokolo captured the sights and sounds of the event and now reports.
The final journey of the late matriarch of the Agui-Ironsi dynasty, Her Excellency Lady Victoria Agui-Ironsi, began here with the lying state of her remains before they were conveyed to the St. Teresa Catholic Church, Afaruku, Umuahia, for a funeral service. The solemn mass witnessed the attendance of the Abia State Governor, Okeze Ikpeazu, to bid farewell to the woman they referred to as a great survivor. Members of the Nigerian Armed Forces, the constituent of the late husband and first military head of state, were also not left out on the roll call. Catholic Bishop of Umuahia Diocese, Most Reverend Lucius Ugoji, extolled the virtues of the late Victoria Agui-Ironsi, while pointing out that her exit should bring about reconciliation and unity of the country.
As she often told her friends and those who get to know, that it was her Catholic faith that led her through those turbulent years.
Governor also described the late Victoria as a strong woman and said her demise has opened a new vista of hope.
The event of today is to pay our last respects to the great soldier, the person of Abuja, who soldiered on despite the loss of his husband and circumstances around that loss.
Her remains were later committed to the great beyond amid tears.
She was an Igbo woman and she strove how an Igbo woman should carry herself. She was an example to Nigerian women. She was passionate that women must be up and doing.
The best mom we all can ever hope for. She's a woman of substance, very strong, courageous.
She's an embodiment of good nature, grace, civility, at the same time as tough as nails.
She's a very caring mother. I don't think we can have her kind again because she's very strong.
The matriarch of the Agui Ironsi, who became Nigeria's second First Lady in succession to Flora Azikiwe, died on the 23rd of August 2021 at the age of 88. She is survived by 7 children and many grand and great-grandchildren.
May her dear soul rest in peace. That's Newsline for today. Thank you for watching. Good night and God bless Nigeria.